Welcome to the Walton County School District podcast,
Epic Exchanges,
where we peel back the curtain on the Walton County way. Excellence, professionalism, innovation, and collaboration. Greetings, I'm Dr. Josh Bledsoe, Public Information Officer for the Walton County School District and your host for Epic Exchanges. Today I have with me our visionary leader, Superintendent A. Russell Hughes. Superintendent Hughes, how are you doing today?
I am well. Thank you so much. Congratulations on making this vision come true for the district. And I'm just trusting and believing that a lot of great things are going to happen when it comes to communication, sharing, growing, developing, and then informing. So thank you. Congratulations. I'm doing well.
Excellent. Excellent to hear. So I want to set the stage. You walk into your office on your first day as superintendent 7 years ago. And the Walton County School District sits at 35 out of 67 counties regarding academic grades, standardized testing. Mm-hmm. There are only a handful of CTE certifications being earned by our students district-wide. Mm-hmm. We've got numerous B and C schools, and we have a 77% graduation rate. Fast forward 7 years. The Walton County School District ranks number 3 in the state for standardized testing, number 2 for graduation, number 2 for school grades. We have no B or no C schools. There's only 4 other districts in the state of Florida that can say that, and our graduation rate is 96%. That's incredible. Walk me through how you felt that first day and how you feel today.
Well, thank you so much. And certainly all those, hearing all of those facts about our growth, our development, our trajectory and success is really, it is fascinating to hear. We've lived it, but to hear those facts really are humbling and such an honor to be able to bring those kinds of outcomes to the Walton County School District. What you may not know, in actuality, the first day I came to Walton County School District, after doing pickup or drop off at West Funiak Elementary School, I had scheduled a meeting at 7:45. I changed that meeting because I wanted to go see children first. So I went and did drop off at West Funiak Elementary School, had a district office meeting rescheduled to 8:30. And in that meeting, I told them I want to be number 1 in the state of Florida. I didn't know the 77% graduation rate. I was elected on November 8th, and my first day was 2 weeks from that Tuesday. So I was really trying to close down Walton High School, pack my things, get situated, try to figure out what was going on because no one knew for sure that I would become superintendent until the election was over. So not knowing those details and specificities about the grades, the performance, I literally walked in the first meeting and said, I want to be number 1. I don't know what number we are, but we're going to be number 1 in the state of Florida for the children. And walking out, I did ask someone, well, what number are we? Where do we stand? And they said 35. And my knees buckled because I knew the great success that my predecessor, great lady, professional development, Ms. Carlene Anderson, one who encouraged me to run for superintendent, who saw something in me, placed me at Walton High School. And I said, okay, wow. She does. I knew she was a great leader and didn't know those details because it wasn't something I had to actually embrace at my school as principal. But when I found those numbers out, I quickly reverted back to the performance we had at Walton High School. And we had over 90% graduation rate. We're the most diverse high school in the county. We had the highest low socioeconomic ratio, the most diverse population, and with our subgroups, we were doing really well. Our African American students were doing 100% graduation rate. Our ELL students were one of the highest in the county, and I knew that if my students We're doing so good with that high diversity and all those subgroups, low socioeconomic, ESE, and I knew we were doing well. I knew something had to really be looked at to see where we could grow in the Walton County School District. So when I began to look at those numbers, look at those schools, I said, we can do better. And I'm going to give our principals the latitude, the support they need to do better. I'm going to oversee all of them because I knew what it took at the most challenging high school at that time, and we were going to put plans in place. So to arrive at 97%, basically 96 point something percent graduation rate, 20 points in 7 years, and to arrive with no C schools, and only 4 other counties in the state out of 67 can say that, to be number 2 in the state of Florida is really something that we can be proud of. It took a lot of work, a lot of tireless planning. It took a scope of understanding vision, leadership, the tiers of leadership, how we can make every child in this county the most important child to every school, to every person, to every educator. And for everyone to understand every one of these 12,000 children were now mine. And I am going to treat them like they're mine. I am going to handle my responsibility like they're mine, and I'm going to remain accountable like they're mine. And every principal understands that. I say to principals, they're the like mayors of small cities, but I'm the governor and I own it. So those principals have adopted that fact, embraced it, and that's how we operate. So every child is important to us.
I love that you say they're mine. And I kind of want to spin off on that. I think any parent in the district that picks their kid up has probably seen you in the drop-off line, and more than likely every student in the district has a selfie with you somewhere on the internet. You genuinely take ownership of each student and care about each student's success. Your whole life as an educator, has that been your driving force as an educator and then as an administrator to just be able to influence students' lives?
Absolutely. I wasn't the greatest student, but I had some teachers and I had some coaches and I had some people in education. I had a mom and dad that loved me, worked hard, took care of me, provided for me. I had a good home. Not better than anybody else, but I had a great home, great parents. Both of my parents actually had to drop out of school. It was at a time when they had to go to work and go to war. My dad served in the Korean War. My mom was a nurse. They went back to night school. And they demanded all 5 of my siblings, all 5 of their children, to get an education, to graduate. Wow. Didn't have to go to college, but they had to graduate. It was important to them. And they always said to me, education is something no one can take from you, so get as much as you can. And then when I had those principals principals, teachers, coaches, to really galvanize that in my heart, the importance of education, I took it to heart. And I wanted everyone else to have an experience and an opportunity to glean what they needed through education to get where they needed to get through life. What a wonderful country we live in. What a wonderful world. What a wonderful opportunity everybody has. It equalizes everything. If you can get an education, prove that it is real, it is authentic, and that you're able to transfer that knowledge and education to activity, your career, your future, you have a fighting chance in this country. And I want everyone to have a fighting chance, just like me. And it's worked out really well for me. Of course, actually 2 coaches tried to get me not to go into education because they said I could make a lot more money. I was much more marketable, and a marketing firm could come out of my life and heart and do a lot of things and make a lot more money. And that is the truth, but I don't think I could have gotten more fulfillment out of anything. And education is to my heart. I was the first child in my house to get a 4-year college degree. Wow. Now, all of mine have gone back and gotten some kind of degree or some kind of formal training, but I was the first one to get a 4-year degree. And, of course, I have a master's as well, and been working on a doctorate for years, and I haven't done. That would have been done if I wasn't superintendent, and I'm going to get done before ending my superintendency. But it has been phenomenal to me, and nothing else I would have wanted to do.
That is a very powerful a story just how education influenced your life, and now you're certainly changing the trajectory of the lives of the students in Walton County, and realistically the lives of educators across the country. And we're going to get to that shortly.
Right. Okay.
There's a couple slogans that I hear you use on a regular basis that if you pay attention when you're walking through schools, you're going to see them. And the biggest one first, of course, is preparing the whole child for a life of success, and that was your brainchild when you came in. Can you talk about what that means to you? What the whole child means to you?
What that means to me is that every child comes with the right to be educated by us. That means by the time they leave Walton County School District, they need to know reading, writing, arithmetic, math, science, those kinds of things. But when I think about the whole child, I think about a Russell Hughes, who I wasn't the best at reading, writing, arithmetic, and I liked football. I liked band. I liked chorus. I was part of student council. I had friends who liked tennis, typing, different things. And the reason I created that mission is because every child is different. And Dr. Bledsoe, you like music. There are other things you like to do. And every one of our 12,000 children have something they really want to do and like to do. And we are not going to be a product or guilty of making a child fit into a mold. We're going to take what that child brings to us. We're going to allow them to explore it. We're going to allow them to grow from it. We're going to use whatever they're interested in to really establish a great trajectory for them in their education. So they can be educated and be a musician. They can be educated and be a gamist. They can be an educated and be a student leader or student athlete. Every child is different, and I'm okay with that. We have a mandate to educate them through the standards, Florida standards, make sure they know them really well. And we're doing that really well, and that is why we have the results we have when it comes to performance, the rankings we have. So we're doing that really good. But there's some other things we're doing great based on the children's desire. We look at children's interests. We look at where they want to be, where they live, and what they want to do. And we want to expose them in every opportunity in everything they want to be exposed to. So we're going to take every interest of every child and really use that to pique the interest, the excitement. I call them salty oats for kids, and that's going to be a part of our educating them, getting the reading, writing, arithmetic, and all those things that we do to make sure they have what they need when they walk out of the school district and do whatever they want, wherever they want. If they want to do it in Walton County, you got it. If you want to do it in Florida, you're prepared. If you want to go to Japan, if you want to go to Germany, wherever you want to go, we're going to make sure you got a foundation based on your interests, and you can take your interests and your success academically and go compete worldwide in whatever they want to do.
That's powerful. So you just jumping off of whatever you want to do, you're going to be prepared. In the 7 years that you've been here, you have just exploded the CTE program. Can you just kind of talk about some of the programs that you've instituted, your commitment to CTEs, and why that's so important to offer our students who may not necessarily be looking at college, but they're still going to be prepared for life?
That's a great question. And let me say this to you. When it comes to graduation rate, when it comes to CTEs, career technical education, the way I started is kids deserve it. I couldn't walk into a school district with 77% graduation rate, which means 23% of children, are walking around without graduating. The right thing to do is make sure children graduate from the school district that you're in, that you're in charge of. That's the right thing to do. What they want to do, that's up to them. What they do with a diploma in their hand, that's up to them. But the right thing to do is to make sure children have an opportunity. Here's another thing. The right thing to do is make sure that this education that is doing so well for us, that we're getting these accolades and these rankings and recognition for, is to make sure that children come out not just knowing math, chemistry, social studies, science, but they have something that if they don't want to go to college, if they want to go right into the military and serve our country, they have some kind of career technical education document stating, I know how to transfer my academics to something career oriented that I'm interested in, that really makes me who I am, the whole child, and we want to give them opportunity. So when I came in and we had so few, I think 45 career technical education documents, and now we had last year over 2,000. That is making sure that every child understands you can do what you want to do. We know your interests. We're going to develop programs that cater to your interests. So we have, and I can't even name all the programs I've started, but we have an astronomical amount of programs, from aquaponics at Freeport. We have agri-science at Paxton. We have culinary arts and aerodynamics at Walton High School. We have medical sciences at South Walton High School. We have nursing and medical sciences at Mike School. We have in those areas things that areas that children are interested in, excited about, and it helps really drive home the facts of these academics being able to be translated and usable for children however they want to. And we have children with multiple career technical education documents saying, I'm just not a good reader. It's not just I can answer chemistry questions on a standardized test. I can utilize my skills. I can utilize the units, the knowledge that I've gained, and I can put it in practice to make sure that I am a valid, viable contributor to society.
Excellent. So one of the other slogans or one of the other phrases that I hear a lot, and some of our listeners or viewers may not necessarily know this or have heard it, but and that is high expectations without excuse. and there's a lot of places I want to go to have you answer that. But one of the things to lay a baseline is that when I see you with children, it's immediately obvious that you believe every single one of them can do anything they want. You believe in their potential, and I feel like that high expectations without excuses. I believe in your potential, and I want to see you fulfill it. And all the years in education that you've 33 years in education, right. You still look at thousands of children now. You still look at every one of them and see the next leader of our generation. So can you kind of encapsulate that high expectations without excuse, what that does for you, not only for children, how you lead, and the example you set, because certainly that's a living example, I would say.
Thank you. I really, it's my life. And what I'm really trying to communicate to every child in this district is that if I can do it, they can do it. I went to college on a full scholarship. I was the smallest. I played defensive line for the most part, then linebacker when they changed defenses, both. I was the smallest guy on the defensive line. I wasn't supposed to be there, but I did it because I expected a lot from myself. I had high expectations. I believe if I wouldn't have gotten hurt, I believe probably wouldn't have gotten drafted, but I believe I was going to play in pro football. That was my goal. I'm first one to get a 4-year college degree in my family. The odds kind of set up against me, but I believed it. I wanted to do it. I expected to do it of myself. My parents encouraged me to do it. I'm first in a lot of things. I'm an African American. I can't hide that. It's how I was born. My parents were, and all I wanted to do was make a difference in children's lives. And when I became the head football coach at Richburg Middle School, the papers came out and said, "You're the first African American football coach on any level in Okaloosa County." When I became the principal at Walton Middle School, the papers came out and said, "He's the first African American principal at Walton Middle School." And then they did it at Walton High School. And then superintendent. I didn't know those things. I expected that whatever I had, the credentials, I had my education, I had drive, I had goals. and I expected nothing out of nothing less out of my life. And I'm very strong faith based, and I just believe that God made each one of us great and wonderful. It says it in Scripture, and I believe whatever that is for me, at wherever He places me, that's my lot, that's my opportunity, and He's done just that. I'm nothing big, I'm nothing important, but with this little life, I'm allowed to talk to 12,000 children, 1,600 employees in Walton County. And when you have high expectations, here it is, children rise or lower themselves to the expectation we have of them. So when I went to Walton High School, I was like, we're going to be the best school in the district. I didn't know where they ranked or what they did. I expect that from children. I expected it from teachers. I expect that from the custodians. And everybody knew it. So when I say high expectation, I believe children can exceed any expectation. And when we set those expectations, then they'll rise to those expectations. If we allow ourselves to lower them and we communicate that to them, they'll adopt that and they'll lower to expectations that we have lowered them to be reachable by them. And I believe we don't have to. Children are resilient. Man, they can do some great things. Hence, Walton County #2 in the state of Florida. Now everybody knows Walton County. When I came in, they didn't know, where is Walton County? Everybody knows, the name Walton County, and they know where we are. So I believe in that. I have high expectations of myself, high expectations for every child, and believe they'll rise or fall to the expectation you set for them. And I have every opportunity. And this is what I say to children. You may not have heard this quote. We might talk about it later. I say this to children: you were made for greatness, and anything less than that is unacceptable. Period. I don't accept anything less from children than greatness. They're all great, all 12,000 of them, and I'm gonna pull every bit of it out of them as much as possible.
Excellent. So, high expectations without excuse. If you're in Walton County or you're anywhere near Walton County, you know how that's encapsulated. You hear it all the time. You see it on social media, and that is epic. Mm-hmm. You've been living epic for a long time. We could spend the whole podcast talking about the successes from a teacher to a principal, or to a dean to a principal to now superintendent of schools. Where did Epic come from, and how has it changed? How has it changed the way you look at things? I know it's certainly changed the way the county looks at things, because there is a clear-cut way that if it's not excellence, professional, innovative, or collaborative, we're not doing it right. Mm-hmm. So how did that come about, and what does that mean to you, and how does it continue to grow?
Great question. Ironically, I've been known to come up with these catchphrases or things or mottos. And as corny as it sounds to most people, as a secondary principal, I always had a theme. Every year I had a theme. This is what we're going to march to. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do things. It changed every year. So literally, Epic was given to me the summer prior to my first full year. I wanted to make sure everybody in this county, it wasn't 1,600 employees then, it's probably 1,000 or 1,200. It wasn't 12,000 students then, but I wanted to make sure everybody knew every level what I expected of them every day, without excuse. This is our standard. Here it is. We're not going to make any excuses. We're going to meet the standard. We're going to reach the goal. We're going to set a threshold that we're going to live by on a daily basis. So I knew, and I did some research on what does epic really mean, So we know that's extraordinary, something over and beyond, better, something different when it comes to the denotation and connotation of the word epic. And I said, well, create an acronym. What 4 components could we place in those spots to come up with something that we could march by? It could be our cadence. It could be what we live by, our mantra. And at 2:00 in the morning, I woke up on the side of my bed and I wrote excellence, professionalism, innovation, and collaboration. With those 4 components, we can do anything we want to do. So I came out with it, and I thought it was going to be a 1-year thing. But teachers started making writing guides by it. They start picking it up, putting it on shirts. And I was like, whoa, this is us. So I couldn't let it go. So I was very innovative. And year number 2, I went Epic 2. And then, of course, consequently, here we are at Epic 6 and 1. And it's just been the way we do it. We call it the Walton County way. If it's not excellent, don't do it. If it's not professional, don't be guilty of it. If it's not innovative, it's not for us. If it's not collaborative, you are working in a silo. All those things are a detriment to success. All those things are a detriment to schools getting where they need to go, a district going where they need to be or going. And listen to this. Since we know it, what EPIC is, connotatively and denotatively, and now we know it as an acrostic that I created, and I'm having copywritten, as a matter of fact, because I've had people try to steal it. I knew that everyone could march to those orders. I could go and get on the bus right now and go, were you EPIC today? I can go to any cafeteria right now and say, hey, were you EPIC today? I can go to any student and go, how EPIC were you? They all know what it means. And if my third grade students don't know what it means, according to the acrostic, they know what EPIC means. So it works anyway. Were you EPIC today? Were you extraordinary today? Were you over and beyond? Were you something very special today? We've already said they're beautifully and wonderfully made. They rise to high expectations without excuse. And I'm calling them EPIC. If they don't know the acrostic, they know the connotative. Our teachers and our staff members know the acrostic, and we live by it. And here's the thing. There are people who know what it is and know what it means. They can look in the mirror every day and go, now, if I'm not EPIC, probably don't need to go to Walton County School District. So we have excluded, eliminated, and asked people out of what we do because they can't fit into the Walton County way. Simply as being EPIC. Without excuse.
Excellent. So let's talk about EPIC.
Okay.
Even further. Today is February 29th, last day of Black History Month. You don't talk about this much, but history in the making. First African-American head football coach in Okaloosa County. First African-American constitutional officer in Walton County. That actually expands in a tri-county area, Okaloosa and Santa Rosa, that entire span, couple hundred miles. Mm-hmm. First African-American constitutional officer. First African-American superintendent of schools, Walton County. And now, superintendent of the year for the state of Florida. I'm getting tingled up saying it, but if our listeners or our viewers don't know, you were recently chosen by the Association of School Superintendents as Florida's Superintendent of the Year. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's an honor. What our listeners or people may not know, I did not apply for that. I had to do a short video. There were people that in our district that knew and know the diligence by which I work, the expectations I have of myself, and the progression that we've had in the district. So they actually filled out the paperwork for me to do it and asked me to just do a video, and that was my only part to this. I don't talk much about me. I'm assigned here, I believe, by a greater caller, but this is my calling, and I work really hard in it and at it because I have an assignment and I have a goal and I have expectation. I have children, 12,000 of them that I'm responsible to and for. So I'm honored. I'm humbled. I never really thought it was going to come to this. But to be recognized throughout the state as somebody that's done something, and all the people around the state know is those who were on the selection committee, what they read, and what we've done. Because I don't even go to these meetings and talk about that because I don't talk about myself very much. So I want to say I'm honored by it, I'm humbled by it because it is a big deal. I didn't know how big a deal it was. I was trying to make it not so much of a big deal. It is a big deal. I try to keep that down so I can remain humble, hungry, and focus on what this is about. And it's not about me, but to be recognized is great. It is Black History Month. You know what? I've always known. I guess at some point when I was told to check a box of my ethnicity, that I was African American or Black, but that never said to me, okay, you're going to be the first at this. I'm just living in this life, in this skin, in this responsibility that's been given to me, in this opportunity. So to know and to be recognized now as making history, being Black History Month, it's pretty humbling again. Again, I didn't know these things. It just came about. And you know what? The first time I was interviewed in Okaloosa County, and they said, well, how does it feel to be the first African-American head football coach in Okaloosa County on any level? I said, man, do they give you wins for that? Do you get to win a game? Do you walk on the field and they go W because it's that? And I was like, well, unless they do that, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be coaching like I'm whatever. I just want to be the best coach. And if I happen to be African American and it sets a standard to give everybody else an opportunity as a trailblazer, that's all I really wanted. Just give me a chance to be a head football coach. Give me a chance to be a principal. Give me a chance to be a dad. Give me a chance to be a superintendent. And I'm going to take that chance. I'm going to have high expectations without excuse. I'm going to give it all I have and let the chips fall where they may. And that's what's happened. Hard work. This has been hard work. Nothing has been given to me. Even this award, they didn't ask my ethnicity on there. They didn't ask those questions. They just asked, show me the data. Show me what you've done. And this has been a result of hard work, dedication, commitment, love for every child, love for what I do, and holding myself accountable. Period. And knowing, my dad used to say, don't ever forget your name, son, who you represent. And I represent the constituents of Walton County. I represent all 12,000 of my children, 24,000 parents, 1,600 employees. And I take it to heart. And my job is to make sure I give every bit of what I'm paid to do to those who elected me, the kids who depend on me, and the employees who expect me to lead like I have and do. And that's what I do. So I want to say I honor. There are a lot of African Americans that went before me that I wouldn't have this opportunity if it weren't for the sacrifices they made. There are a lot of people that I wouldn't have this opportunity, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. So thank you for bringing that out. I honor that, and we have a leap year this year, so it's the 29th day of February. So absolutely good.
I think it's sometimes easy to look at when we look at great things that happen, and we always think of in the past. Mm-hmm. And it's valuable now in Walton County that every resident of Walton County, every student, every parent, every resident of Walton County is experiencing history in the making. It's happening right now. And I think it's just a great thing to kind of take a minute, look around, and recognize and appreciate that's happening. So I'm certainly inspired right now. I know if you're listening and you're watching this and you are not fired up right now, then check your pulse. So I kind of want to end on that note, but I want to ask one last question. Okay. Why do you do this?
Oh wow. That's an easy question, but it could probably be stated in several different perspectives. I do it because I've been called to do it. This is a calling in my life. There's not enough money in Walton County to pay me for what I do and the way I do it. Not enough. Period. Not enough. I do it because I've been called to do it. I do it because I have this one opportunity to do it. You know what? We have one life to live, and this is no practice run. I won't get a second chance at life, and I want to make the best of it. with that's the mandate on my life, holding my account, understanding why I'm here. The second thing is, if there's a residual effect of why I do what I do, it's because of children. Every one of them deserves an opportunity to be the best. Every one of them deserves an opportunity to experience somebody that loves them, want to be around them, hug them, say good morning to them, smile at them, pat them on the back, take a selfie with them, get excited when they tell me something. They are my why. And I'll tell you this, I kind of like adults, all right, but I don't nearly like adults like I like children. I got 5 grandbabies, 2 biological children, and 12,000 that I call my babies. And I do it for them. They deserve it. And I'm going to make sure they can count on me in anything to do what I need to do in a leadership role, in a personal role, in a role of understanding. And if I can be the state of Florida gives, kind of says that we are kind of parents as well. So if I can be a parent to them away from parents, if they have no parents or if they have parents, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, I want to be a parent to every one of them. So people look at me funny sometimes and go, how many children have I? Go, 12,002. Absolutely. That's why I do this. And that's why I continue to do this for 33 years. Love it that much. Love those kids.
Well, I would say, I was inspired, and now I'm a little bit emotional too. Right. But well, Superintendent Hughes, I thank you so much for coming on the podcast. You're going to be here regularly, whether you know it or not. But you will be here regularly. Thank you all, viewers of Walton County. Thank you so much, Superintendent Hughes, and we will see you on the next Epic Exchanges.